Hare Krishna, Vanamali Prabhu, Dandavad Pranam Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Vanamali Govinda Prabhu, Dandavad Pranam Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Sankarshan Priya Prabhu, Danvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu, just give me 1 minute, I will start.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Vanamali Prabhu. Are we ready, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhu. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, Prabhuji. You are audible, Prabhu.
I'll just share the
Hare,
screen and we'll start with prayer.
yeah. Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavad Pranam. Welcome to the same Bhagavata Sevaya. Today we are very glad and pleased to have the association of His Grace Vanamali Govinda Prabhu, who will be sharing the beautiful pastime of Lord Krishna on the topic of subduing Kaliya and the lessons for the sadhaka devotees. Thank you, Prabhuji. Over to you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Prabhu. So, do we recite a shloka or how do the other speakers do?
Yeah, we can recite the sloka, Prabhu. One appropriate sloka that we can recite, and then we can jump into the
Oh,
past.
okay, thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतः सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. So we'll be reciting from the 10th canto, 16th chapter, shloka number 56. Hope the screen is also now visible. And if there is any issue, please send a chat message. Kaliya uvacha vayam khalaha sahutpatya tamasa dirgamanyavah swa sangraha yadasad graha. Translation and purport by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. The serpent Kaliya said, "Our very birth as a snake has made us envious, ignorant, and constantly angry. O my Lord, it is so difficult for people to give up their conditioned nature by which they identify with that which is unreal." Srila Sanatan Goswami points out that because of his wretched condition, Kaliya was unable to compose original prayers to the Lord, and thus he paraphrased some of the prayers offered by his wives. The word asadgraha indicates that a conditioned soul seizes upon impermanent and impure things, such as his own body, the bodies of others, and other countless varieties of material sense objects. The ultimate result of such material attachment is frustration, disappointment, and anguish, a fact that has now become crystal clear to the poor serpent Kaliya. So we can see here that Kaliya himself admits, that his very birth is in the mode of ignorance, and that is why his nature is conditioned to be envious, ignorant, and angry. So he is now pleading the Lord. He has become subdued. And so in our today's discussion, we'll try to briefly summarize the past time and try to churn some lessons from the sadhaka's perspective. We'll start with prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिर्न्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। चैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीगुरून् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः। ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमे सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादि पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So I'll try to share a PPT also. So our heart is like Vrindavan, and the demons coming in Vrindavan are the anarthas. So with the help of our acharyas, we have very nice lessons to learn from this uh, demons and the serpent Kaliya like personalities who come time and again during the tenure of Sri Krishna and learn some valuable lessons for us. So starting with how from in the 16th chapter, uh, Shukadev Goswami is telling pastime in one shloka, that how Lord Krishna banished Kaliya from Yamuna with the desire to purify Yamuna. But Parikshit Maharaj was very eager and enthusiastic to know more details. So he immediately requested how it was that Kaliya had been living there for so many ages. So from here itself we can learn that eagerness in hearing. Hmm? How Parikshit Maharaj was wanting to hear more details about the pastime, and this shows the sign of love when one wants to go into details. And yeah, as we see, as the pastime went, this was again the time when Balram's birthday, appearance day was there, and he was not along with the cowherd boys. There was another pastime when Aghasur was killed, and even that time he was not there. And this was according to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, that Balram was not there, and the cowherd boys were very very thirsty, and immediately when all of them simultaneously drank the waters of Yamuna, they all became fainted. They lost their consciousness, and Krishna glanced at them and again revived them. And yeah, that is what is shown in this, as you can see in this picture. Mm. That how Krishna is actually trying to glance upon them and reviving one by one. And they had like a bad dream. What happened? They could not understand. Is the screen visible? The picture of Krishna
Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
trying to wake up the boys, the cowherd boys. I think the screen has stuck. Sankarshan Priya Prabhu,
Yes, Prabhuji.
you can see the picture of Krishna waking up the
Yes, Prabhuji.
cowherd boys.
Yes, Prabhuji, we can see, Prabhu.
Now it is visible, I think. है ना?
Yes, Prabhuji. Along with the text. I think there is a text message, Yeah. Prabhuji, you are muted, Prabhu. We cannot hear you, Prabhu.
Yeah. Am I audible now?
Yes, Prabhuji. You are audible now.
So, network got disconnected. So the screen is also visible, no?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So this is the picture where Krishna is trying to wake up the cowherd boys after they become fainted when they drink the water of the river Yamuna. Actually, we'll try to discuss the pastime also, that how Kaliya came and he was residing here. It was not actually in the mainstream of Yamuna, but there was an offshoot of Yamuna where it was a kind of a lake which was almost 8 miles in one aspect, one area. The diameter was almost 8 miles. So there, when they drank the water, they became fainted, and then Krishna glanced over them and brought them back to consciousness. So, uh, looking at this, the poison which was created by Kaliya was not of 1 or 2 years or so. It was since ages that he was residing here, and the intensity of his poison was so much that the water started boiling. And not only that, in the periphery of almost 8 miles around surrounding this lake of the offshoot of Yamuna, there was not even a single creature which was alive, hmm, except for the Kadamba tree. And that was why, because Garuda knew that Krishna will come and do a pastime here, and that's why he had dropped the drop of nectar, which made the Kadamba tree remain alive in spite of the poisonous effect of this Kaliya's presence. So here, um, the Lord, seeing the situation that this Kaliya has created havoc in this area of Vrindavan, he tried to teach him a lesson, jumped on the Kadamba tree, tightened his belt, slapped the arms like a wrestler, and jumped into the river. Hmm? So when the Lord jumped in, the snakes breathed heavily and further polluted the river. And as soon as the Lord jumped, he sported like a lordly elephant. And Kaliya became intolerably angry and tried to furiously beat him. Hmm. But what happens after that? He immediately gets bind up in the coils of Kaliya and remains still like this for almost 48 minutes. And the Acharyas tell different interpretations by Sanatan Goswami, by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, that actually Krishna was stunned by the loving embrace of Kaliya. And that is why whenever we embrace a dear personality, we don't want to leave the embrace immediately, is it not? We continue to be in the embrace for at least some point of time. So here, Krishna was trying to reciprocate with the embrace of Kaliya and just being in that still position. Whereas Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur tells that actually this was a heroic stun of Krishna, that Kaliya, you can do whatever you want. I am here. You show your strength, and then I will show my strength. And that is why he was there binded. But on the outside, on the bank of river, what was happening? The Vrajvasis were completely devastated. They were thinking that Krishna is there inside the river and not coming out. What happened? Did he lose his life or what? Out of loving affection, all the Vrajvasis were very, very anxious. You can see that how actually Kaliya had how many hoods? 100,000. Hmm? He had almost 1,000 hoods, but out of that, 100 were prominent. And he was attacking Kaliya with these 100 hoods. Hmm? I mean, Krishna with these 100 hoods, and the other 900 hoods were secondary. So when the fighting was going on, and Lord, after 48 minutes, came out and was going around circling and making Kaliya very, very tired. Hmm, but the Vrajavasis were feeling very anxious, especially Yashoda Mai. She became so anxious that she finally wanted to jump inside the river, understanding that Kaliya has taken away Krishna and not allowing him to even come out. She was almost wanting to give up her life, and she fainted. Only one personality, Balram, was not afraid or anxious, because he knew the strength of Krishna, that nothing will happen to Krishna. And Balram was the one who was pacifying Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda and keeping them, uh, stopping them from entering to the Yamuna. The mother Yashoda, not able to enter Yamuna because of being stopped by Balram, just fainted and lied there. Hmm. Finally, Krishna's battle was going on, and he was trying to jump from one hood of the Kaliya to another hood. He was completely being attacked from all the sides from these 100 hoods, and the very hood which was rising up to bite Krishna, Krishna immediately jumped and subdued so heavily. The entire weight of the universe was felt by Kaliya, and his entire poison came out because of this jumping from one hood of Kaliya to another. Krishna, can you imagine? It is such a slippery surface, but Krishna managed to dance, and he is no doubt the master of all the mystic yogas. What he cannot do. Hmm? And finally, after this, Kaliya became very tired. He ran around to catch Krishna, but Krishna went around in circles and not able to catch Krishna. Kaliya became very, very tired and almost about to lose his life. Krishna went inside the mouth also of Kaliya, and now you can see, no? He's completely understood the supremacy of the Lord. And finally Krishna comes out and meets the mother Yashoda. So different responses came from different devotees. Except Balram, everybody was tensed and concerned, and the Vrajavasi, even the demigods. Actually, I forgot to tell that the demigods showered bad omens. Why? Because they forgot the opulence of the Lord. And seeing these bad omens, all the Vrajavasis came that what will happen? First of all, Balram has not gone. Upon that, there is a news that Krishna has jumped inside the river and not able to come out. So uh, uh, remained almost for 48 minutes, and then we saw that how the subduing happened. Hmm? And there is a big story about why Kaliya was here, which we'll try to discuss at the end. Now, what did the Kaliya Patnis, the Naga Patnis, prayed as soon as they saw that the situation of Kaliya was very, very pathetic. He was about to die, but they also saw that the poison has come out. Maybe there is a chance that he may become a devotee. Actually, the Nagapatnis were preaching Kaliya that please become the devotee of the Lord, and they were themselves a devotees. But seeing the arrogant behavior, he could not take up the preachings of his wives, and he remained very, very cruel. But now the Kalya Patnis, the Naga Patnis had a hope. Maybe now he may become a devotee. And so they surrendered to Krishna and started praying. They started the prayers with glorification. Here is another lesson for a sadhaka, that whenever we approach a personality, we should not directly ask him a favor or a talk. We should first start with some glorification, some respect. Especially, for example, in a Bhagavatam class, when the class ends, we don't directly start, is it not? That I have a question. The etiquette is that first we thank the speaker, we, if possible, appreciate some point, and then ask our question. Otherwise, it is a sign of a very, very ingratitude, ungratefulness, that we did not appreciate the time and effort the speaker has put up to share some valuable things. So, in such a way, whenever, even Arjuna, when he approached Krishna, when Ashwatthama had thrown the Brahmastra, that time he first glorified the Lord, even in such an urgent situation. So, here the Nagapatni similarly, first of all, glorify that, oh Lord, your punishment is equivalent to mercy. There is no difference between your punishment and mercy. That is absolute, seeing your absolute nature. And this is how the devotees think. Even in tough times, when situations are not favorable or there are problems, and the devotee may face sinful reactions, he never complains. But a devotee always thinks that this is a mercy of the Lord which has come in this form. Is it not? So, in this way, they started, and they were surprised that the goddess of fortune, Mother Lakshmi, who is awaiting for the dust of your lotus feet, is not able to get. But how this sinful, wretched Kaliya got the dust of your lotus feet? This is completely unimaginable. This is the highest aspiration of the bhaktas, to get your dust. But this sinful creature got. Surely he has done some very nice pious activities in his past life. Otherwise, how it could have been possible? But the fact is, from acharyas we learn, it was only by the mercy and because of the Nagapatnis who are devotees, Kalya gets this mercy and he is saved from being killed. Another understanding which acharyas give is that Kalya also represents the false ego, the envious nature, the cruelty. And the false ego is never to be killed, but it has need to be purified. So that is why he was not killed, and he was just sent out of Vrindavan. We'll see that now. And yeah, so finally, um, yeah, the Kaliya Patnis, they glorify that you are the in charge of creation, maintenance, and destruction. All the three modes are under your control. At least once now you give mercy. Maybe now if you forgive Kaliya, then he may become a devotee. So give him one chance. That is what their request was. And then Krishna agrees to that and allows Kaliya to offer his prayers. But what he can pray? He is a sinful personality. But whatever the Kaliya Patnis had preached him, from there he somewhat paraphrased it and offered his prayers. That I am born of such a mode of ignorance, I am by nature very envious. It's very difficult to overcome this envious nature, and that is what our today's shloka, which we recited, Kaliya Uvacha, that it is very difficult to give up this nature. So sometimes we also think that this is what to do, Prabhu, this is my nature, please tolerate. Yeah, nature and the modes are difficult to overcome, but otherwise, why Krishna has given the scriptures if it was impossible to overcome? Surely by practice we can overcome, and we need a thorough sadhana and efforts to overcome our effects of our modes. At least we should try to come to mode of goodness. From there we can jump towards pure goodness. It is easier, but we have to do our homework to come to mode of goodness from passion and ignorance. And the Lord replied, O serpent, you may not remain here any longer. Go back to the ocean immediately. He was coming from a Ramanaka island, which was the island of snakes, very, very poisonous snakes, which we may try to discuss after a few minutes. And let this river be enjoyed by the cows and humans. So, two things which we have to note here. First is the Lord is trying to forgive him, not killing him, and that is why the chapter is subduing Kaliya. But the Lord is not allowing him to stay in Vrindavan. The Lord is actually banishing him from Vrindavan. And this is the understanding that if a devotee practices bhakti with anarthas, especially the anartha carried by Kaliya of envy and cruelty, then although he may be forgiven by the Lord if he comes to his senses, but he will lose the association of devotees. He may continue his devotional service also, but he may not be able to associate. The Vrajvasis are the signs of association of devotees. So Kaliya lost the association of devotees because of his this nature. So we need to be very careful not to continue bhakti with maintaining such anarthas. We should carefully, consciously work to get rid of it, to minimize it by association, and thereby get the best benefit of the association of devotees. And one more thing, Kaliya was now trying to offer some gift to Krishna. So he was searching in his seabed that whether there is any jewel or something which I can give. There are many, many jewels in the seabed of Yamuna. So he was trying to search, and Krishna was also trying to see, let me see what is that he is going to offer me now. And Kaliya took the best of the diamond which was available in his bed and offered that. And Krishna was now convinced that Kaliya has given up his sense gratificatory tendencies completely. Hmm? So that also comes in Krishna book. So yes, Lord banishes Kaliya from Yamuna, and one who remembers this at sunset and sunrise will never be afraid of you, Kaliya, and one will be free from all sinful reactions if one bathes in this place, offers water to the demigods, observes fast, duly worships and remembers me. So the Kaliya Daman place is still there. The Kadamba tree is still maintained in Vrindavan. Whenever we go for a yatra, we can offer our prayers and remembering this pastime. And Kalia had one last doubt. What will happen if Garuda comes? Because there was always a threat of Garuda. There was an enmity between him and Garuda. So Krishna assured, don't worry. Now, because my footsteps marks are there on your hoods, Garuda will see that and never come and have enmity with you. So Kaliya became devotee in this way, and with all the patnis, he went back to his island, the Ramanaka island. So, what is the anartha which is represented by Kaliya? It's a brutal cruelty and treachery. He poured the poison into the residents of Rajvasis, even rumor mongers, unnecessary spreading of rumors, and pride, cheating, cruelty, harming others, absence of compassion to other living entities represented by Kaliya. So in the third canto, 29th chapter, 10th shloka, not 10th, 8th shloka, 3.29.8, um, Lord Kapila narrates the three aspects of devotional service in mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So in the 8th shloka, he tells the qualities and symptoms of a practitioner who is practicing in mode of ignorance, and there he tells about pride and violence are the symptoms of a practitioner in mode of ignorance. So some may think, but how a devotee will do a physical fight? Not only physical, it can be a verbal fight, it can be insensitive behavior, it can be political behavior in which he can be cruel. So that is the nature of a practitioner in mode of ignorance, even though he is practicing devotional service. So let us now quickly see what was the history about why there was fight between Kaliya and Garuda. So Kaliya actually uh, fearful of Garuda because actually Anantashesha had populated few islands with these snakes, and Garuda, as a share, used to sometimes visit these islands. These were hellish planets, uh, Patal, Sutal, Talatal, and this was Ramanaka Island where this Kaliya was residing with other snakes, many hooded snakes, 500 hoods, 1000 hoods, like that. So Garuda used to come and take his share and go away. So the serpent community complained to their head Vasuki that this Garuda not only comes, he kills so many snakes and eats some of them, eats maybe a few, but kills many of them in the process and goes away. He is very troublesome. So when Vasuki was complained, Vasuki approached Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma made a management meeting with Garuda that, oh Garuda, you want to have your offerings. So this snake community will always keep their offerings. Once a month you can come and honor it. Hmm? So Garuda was okay with that, but there was this Kaliya who was not ready to bear this. Why should we offer to Garuda once a month? Let him go out somewhere else and do his eating business. So when Garuda came to know this, immediately asked, "Why are you refusing me my share? I have duly done the meeting with Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma has instructed me." Though Kaliya was not at all ready, he was very envious. He was telling that don't come here at all. And then there was a fight, and Kaliya was trying to beat Garuda, but Garuda, with his claws and with his wings, he was literally beating Kaliya, and Kaliya understood, I cannot withstand this Garuda, and he was running here and there, and entire heavenly planets, middle planetary system, lower planetary system, everywhere he saw Garuda was chasing. Finally, he met Anantashesha, where he was told that you go to Yamuna, and there is a place where Garuda will never come. And why? There is another pastime for that. We may have heard about Saubri Muni, who was residing at the bed of Yamuna, and along with many fish. And there was Garuda also visiting to eat his share of fish. So this fish society complained to Saubri Muni that this Garuda comes and eats away fish. So when once Garuda came, Garuda tried to. He was very hungry, and he heard Saubri Muni telling him that don't come here. This is a place of the fish, and let them peacefully stay. You go somewhere else. But Garuda was very hungry, and he ultimately took the leader of the fish, and he was going. And that time, Saubri Muni was very angry that I told you not to come here. Still, you are taking away the fish. I curse you that you never come here again, and if you come, you will die. So Garuda just stopped for a moment that this Muni is cursing me. I'm just taking my share and I'm going back. But however, he is also devotee of the Lord Vishnu. Let me not have a fight with him. And Garuda peacefully went away. But now you saw what happened. Because of this curse, now Kaliya came and resided here. Entire lake was poisoned, all the fish died, and before the fish died, the very same reason for which Saubri Muni protected the fish, the same fish became the reason of Saubri Muni's fall down also. So it was actually the offense towards Garuda. Garuda was taking his own share. Garuda was not becoming angry, but Saubri Muni unnecessarily cursed a devotee of the Lord. Actually, Garuda is so great devotee that when he is flying from the wings, Samaveda gets heard. The slokas of Samaveda, it is told. So he was a very nice devotee of the Lord, but still Saubri Muni did not realize and cursed him. So the result was that he saw two fish mating and he desired to come out, and his tapasya got broken. He ended up marrying 50 or 100 daughters of a king, and finally could not continue his meditation. He realized it later, Saubri Muni, but it was too late. So the offense to Garuda was the reason for the fall down of Saubri Muni. So what is the lesson for sadhakas? The lesson for us is that if one has an independent plan from that of the Lord, then the whole thing will go down and boil down to failure. So Saubri Muni acted independently, whereas Garuda was acting according to the plan of the Lord. He did not take up a fight with Saubri Muni, considering him as a devotee. So we should not act independently, but abide by the plan of the Lord through scriptures, through pure devotees, and so yeah. So that was about why Garuda was not coming to the river Yamuna. So yeah, we discussed almost all these things, that how Saubri Muni cursed Garuda and did a mistake, and ultimately fell down. So yeah, the Garuda, the offense was the 10th offense. This protection of fish society, is it not? Unnecessary compassion on the fish. Uh, so the Acharyas explained this is the 10th offense which Saubri Muni did, maintaining attachments, material attachments, in spite of hearing so many instructions. So this 10 offense should be guarded by devotees. So yeah, there is another pastime to see that how Kaliya became Kaliya. What was the past of Kaliya is also what is described by Acharyas. And it is told that there was Vedashira Muni, who was a descendant of Bhrigu Muni, who performed austerities in the Vindhya hills. And there was another sage who came to reside in his ashram and do his tapasya, and his name was Ashwashira Muni. So both of them together, they were planning. I mean, Ashwashira just came without any prior permission and intimation to Vedashira Muni. And to this, Vedashira Muni did not appreciate that why this Muni is coming and doing austerity in my ashram. Let him go to another ashram. So Vedashira Muni very angrily spoke and cursed Ashwashira Muni. But Ashwashira Muni reacted back again angrily. He told that Sab Bhumi Gopal ki, what is the problem? After all, this does not belong to you. It belongs to Mahavishnu. So both were devotees of Vishnu, and both ended up fighting. And Vishnu had to come finally and pacify them. By the time Vishnu came, it was late. Both of them cursed each other. Ashwashira Muni told, "You are acting like a snake who dominates its territory and doesn't allow anybody to come. So I curse you to become a snake." And Vedashira Muni told, "You are talking like a crow, and I curse you to become a crow." And that is how Ashwashira Muni became Kaka Bhushandi. But when Lord Vishnu came, he told, "I cannot take back the words of my devotee and Brahmanas. So both of you have cursed each other, what to do?" But I have my blessings with you, that although you will become a snake, Veda Shiramuni, I bless you that Lord Himself will come and purify you of your envious mentality and dance on you with His, and you will get the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord. And to Ashwa Shiramuni, he says that although you are become a cursed to become a crow, but I bless you that you will recite Ramayana to Garuda, and that is how you will get purified eventually also. So, this was a little about the pastime, how Kaliya became Kaliya. So, from the Krishna Samhita, Bhaktivinod Thakur's book, it is very much clearly mentioned that Kaliya represents pride, harming others, cruelty, and Kaliya's malais always pollutes the water of Yamuna, which is the spiritual liquid of the Vaishnavas. So it is everyone's duty to give up this 10th obstacle. So here, after understanding brief the pastime, what are the lessons further we can have for our own application are, in brief, if we have to describe that the envious mentality, is it not the fault finding nature, and which ultimately comes out because of envy towards another. So this envy is a very famous anartha which we have heard many times, and probably we might have discussed it before also, that how to get rid of this envious mentality and fault finding mentality. So once Srila Prabhupada was having a morning talk, that and he was explaining that how one should not get distracted by finding faults after coming to bhakti with devotees, with the institution, um, especially. So the devotees, how they can get rid of fault finding tendencies, what Srila Prabhupada was mentioning in one of the talks, where he was telling the devotees that even in spiritual world also sometimes Krishna does mistakes by getting so much attracted to Radharani. Instead of milking cow, he ends up milking a bull. Or the gopis, they in a haste to see Krishna ends up putting the bindi in a wrong place, or kajal in a wrong place, or they don't even properly dress because in a haste to see Krishna. So mistakes can happen in spiritual world also, but they are transcendental. They are based on the attraction and love for Krishna. Similarly, there can be possibility of devotees doing mistake, but we have to understand that there can be difference of opinion amongst two devotees, but this difference of opinion should not be taken into as a problem, but it should be considered as very transcendental, because both of them are trying to serve the Lord, and they are in a process of improvement. So one should try to avoid seeing the faults, and understand that the very nature of this material world is to be faulty, and instead of focusing on the fault, he should try to focus, or he or she should try to focus on the good aspect, and try to make the best of the association of devotees. If we don't learn to associate with the devotees in such a way, then we will end up doing the same mistake which Kaliya did. We will harbor this anartha, and ultimately we will face up ending Krishna removing us from the association of devotees, or if not literally physically removing, we will not be able to actually take the advantage of the association of devotees, because harboring this envious mentality. So how to tackle this envious mentality? Yeah, we have generally heard, is it not, we should appreciate. Appreciation is the best antidote for appreciation is the best antidote for envy. But sometimes I had heard from my Guru Maharaj that if we appreciate another devotee, then Krishna is more happy with us than the good quality of that devotee. I was very surprised, that is it? Then, yes, he was telling that we should just appreciate the good qualities of others, and thereby we will get that quality in us. I was thinking this is a big shortcut. Let me start trying to do this and get good qualities of all the devotees. But unfortunately, when I sincerely tried, it was not coming very heartily. I could see the resistance. So that means this nature of envy is very, very deep rooted. It is not at all superficial. And although we understand the glory of appreciation, but the glory does not come heartily. No problem, at least we can start mechanically, if not heartily. But before that, there are two more steps, easier steps, because envy is so deep rooted. One of the senior devotees was sharing that release the steam of envy by self-esteem. What is that steam? Steam is envy. And what is self-esteem? Focusing on our own talents, Krishna given talents. So if somebody is very good in book distribution, okay, no problem. I am good in singing. So in that way, we should avoid envying others and ultimately harming our own self. But sometimes devotees tell, no, Prabhuji, but we are in the same department and we have competition about the same skill about the book distribution, and we have to see each other's face daily. What to do, Prabhuji? How to manage it? You know? So, yes, in that case we can dovetail our envy, deep rooted envy, into healthy competition. Don't do unhealthy competition. Srila Prabhupada used to tell that yes, he in fact engaged the American disciples in competition for who does the highest book distribution. And he used to tell, I will go to that temple. So that is healthy competition. But sometimes the devotees ended up puncturing each other's buses so that they get better score. This becomes an unhealthy competition. So we can try to dovetail our envy by engaging in healthy competition. Oh, this devotee is doing so nice service, I will try to do double the service towards the Lord. So in that way we can come out and healthily engage the deep rooted envy. And the best is to appreciate face to face and heartily appreciate. That can come and take some time. First we need to also glorify Krishna. Actually our envy towards another devotee is our indirect envy to Krishna. We may not envy Krishna in the altar. Krishna is smiling in the altar and we just feel that, oh, Krishna is giving so nice loving reciprocation. But our actual original envy for Krishna, due to which we have come to this material world, will be easily reflected in our dealings with the devotees. So we need to be very careful to see that actually our envy for devotees, our original envy for Krishna only, because we are not able to see the connection of Krishna and that devotee. Unless Krishna has not sanctioned, how can this devotee have this skill? Unless Krishna has not sanctioned, how this devotee can behave in such a way? It is impossible. So that was one thing. Another is, why does Krishna allow the devotees, the Vrajvasis, to get succumbed to the effects of Kaliya and such ghastly demons? Our acharyas mention that actually Krishna wants to glorify the devotion of the devotees. He wants to see that sometimes the devotees may end up becoming victim of these demons and personalities like Kaliya, but they want Krishna wants to show, see how they are dependent on me and how they are faithful upon my protection, that that comes out of their sheer devotion. So to exhibit this, sometimes Krishna allows them to get victimed by these demons or personalities like Krishna. So even we sometimes may get succumbed by the anarthas, or we may get affected by so-called cruelty of another devotee. But we should always keep in mind that we should not do tit for tat. We should always follow the principle of titikshava karunika. Hmm? Not only being tolerant, but also being merciful. So one of the acharyas tell that what is the way to become non-envious? Correct? If we are becoming envious, then what is the way out to become envious? He tells to preach, because you cannot preach unless you are non-envious, and by preaching you can become non-envious. How is that? Very simple example. Let us say some non-devotee is seeing into gross sense gratification, and now we have come into bhakti. Okay, for example, a youth, we generally give the example of youths. They are seeing the non-devotee students, they are freely mixing with girls and boys, or seeing movie or eating outside, and this newly become devotee, he observes them from far and tries to curse or feel some very ill thoughts that he is going to hell, he is in mode of ignorance. But when this devotee comes and shares with another senior devotee that, see, Prabhu, how they are falling into hell, this devotee tries to correct him, telling that, Prabhu, yes, it was not so far that we were also in a similar situation before. If we only think like this for them, then how we can help out them? we will not be able to help them. So what should be our correct mentality? We should be feeling sorry for them. In fact, one devotee was telling that sometimes we feel that we are not able to do that because our still lingering material desires are not gone, and we feel that, oh, now I'm in a base, I'm in a devotee community, and I cannot enjoy like this fellow. And we may feel, because of envy, we feel that he is enjoying and I am not able to enjoy, and we end up cursing him. So this is how the envious mentality doesn't allow us to preach and feel good, because unless we don't have compassion, how can we preach? So this envy becomes a big obstacle in preaching, and the result is to first start mechanically preaching at least, and finally develop that compassion amongst us, so that we can get rid of this envious mentality. So preaching is not only for others but for our own purification. So by preaching, by doing mechanically, one day that bhavana will feeling will arise, that what Prabhupada did to the hippies, how Prabhupada did so much compassionate. He was thrown into so many difficulties, but he never gave up. How the Prabhupada's disciples are doing very steadfast preaching according to the desire of Srila Prabhupada, even after 50, 60 years of Prabhupada's passing away. So, preaching is one solution, is what our acharyas give to get rid of our envious mentality. So, we need to, first of all, uh, uh, we should avoid seeing the other people's skill, our devotees, and instead of that, focus on our own talents, Krishna given talents. And if we are working in the same department, then we can engage in healthy competition. And finally, if we can appreciate it directly, that is the best thing we can do. And we should not only appreciate, but we should serve those devotees whom we aspire to have those qualities of non-enviousness. And that's why Krishna was told, Arjuna was told Bhagavad Gita, because you are non-envious, I am telling you this message of Gita. So we will be able to realize and practice and apply the teachings of the Lord if we can get rid of this anartha of envy. So in this way, we can just try to summarize. Around 10 minutes are left about what we discussed today, and what are the pastime, what are the lessons which we tried to see. One is that uh, we started with Parikshit Maharaj eagerness to hear and go into the details of the pastime, and not just go through superficially. When Sukdev Goswami was completing the pastime in just one verse, so this is a sign of love to go into details and eagerness of hearing. Actually, our hearing should not only terminate in hearing, but it should end up in discussing, contemplation, and thereby application. And then the sadhana process gets over and the fruit of realization will be achieved. Number two, we also discussed that how Saubri Muni's fall down, we learn a lesson of not becoming independent in our plan, in our thought process. But like Garuda, we should always align by the plan of the Lord, and try not to be violent, not to be envious and cruel in our dealings with devotees. We also saw that how uh, yeah, we discussed in great detail about how to overcome this fault finding tendency. That fault is a part of the material world, even in the spiritual world, but which is based on Krishna consciousness, transcendental in nature. So why not focus on the good aspects of the devotees? Krishna Prabhupada told this is hospital, so we need to see the other devotees as also practicing sadhakas. Even our senior devotees, we may have sometimes lot of expectations from them, but we should see that ultimately even they are sadhakas. uh, not all are pure devotees, and in that way they are doing their best, and we should try to cooperate with them rather than focusing on the faults. And how to get rid of this envious mentality, we saw about how to focus on our own talents, focus on healthy competition, and appreciate and serve if possible. Hmm? Finally, we saw that preaching, how preaching can help us also to get rid of envy. And there are many more lessons which we can also extract. by the acharyas. But for now, we can restrict. Even the word Kalindi Yamuna Jaya Jaya Mahavan, Sanatan Goswami tells that the word Kalindi refers to Kaliya, and we also discussed about the pastimes of how the hoods of Kaliya, 1,000 but 100 in primary ones with which he was attacking Krishna. And then we saw how the Vrajvasis have different reactions when Krishna was being caught up by Kaliya. And we discussed about the embracing nature, which the acharyas analyze. That the embrace was taken as a stunning reaction by Krishna, and he was stunned. That is how he was getting caught up and not reacting. Whereas Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur tells that actually he was showing his heroic potency, that challenging Kaliya, do whatever you can, and I will show my strength later on. And we saw that actually, yeah, I forgot to tell, when Krishna jumped inside the lake, the water rose almost to 90 meters around the circumference of that lake. I forgot the name of the lake. It has also have name, because it was not Yamuna itself but a offshoot of Yamuna. And then we discussed about why Garuda was having a fight with Kaliya, and how Kaliya took shelter in this lake because of this pastime of Shaubri Muni, who cursed Garuda not to come there. And we also discussed about how Kaliya became Kaliya, the Veda Shira Muni and Ashwashira Muni. So with this, I pause here for some time. 5 more minutes are there. If we have some discussions or questions, we can little bit churn on that. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Please forgive me, I came late by 5 minutes. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Danvat pranam.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for beautifully walking us through the pastime of Kaliya. I'd request a devotee to share your comments or reflections or questions.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Danvat
Very,
pranam.
very, very exhaustive. Very nicely you have given the call. And the other part also you have given very nice. That Aswa Shiramuni and Veda Shiramuni. That part I've not heard about it. So it's wonderful, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. It is
Hare
little
Krishna
easy.
Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranams Prabhu. Thanks for that wonderful, wonderful class, Prabhu. As always, you give so many practical instructions. Prabhu, one thing I was thinking, the snakes are usually called as envious, but there are divine serpents also like Anantashesha and Vasuki. So how to, and they also perform this prayers, some festivals, no, Prabhu. So
Yes.
how to understand, Prabhu? Should we, is it like humans, Nitya Baddhas, Nitya Siddhas in snake community also? We should think, how, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji. Generally, we see, as I was going through the pastime also, I came to know that actually the origin of all them are Anantashesha himself. And Anantashesha also, he there are two Anantasheshas. One was the one who is becoming the bed of Lord Vishnu, and he is a Nitya Siddha, whereas the one who is holding the universe, he is a Jiva. He is not the associate of the Lord, the Swamsha, but he is a Vibhinamsha. So that one is there, and from there all these snake community gets aroused, and some of them are poisonous, some of them are divine. And why we do not bother about killing, especially in the Parshuram area of Mangalore, that Goa to Kerala area, because it was Parshuram area. So it is said in general that we consider them as the expansion of Anantashesha, and we worship the Naga Devatas, and there are Naga Pujas, Naga Panchami. However, because of this envious nature, and not all the snakes are poisonous, not all of them bite, most of them are fearful and they run away seeing the humans. But there are 4 or 5 types of poisonous which I have heard, which sometimes they do bite even unnecessarily, without a reason. So that is what makes it compared to death. And Shastras also recommend that the sadhus delight in killing them, because for one lowly creature like the snake, one should not be giving up a human form of life, and that is why it is better to kill in case there is a doubt. So there is nothing wrong in that, but in general we don't try to find them out and kill if they are inside the home, or if they are creating a danger. That is the only time which one is recommended that it is to be killed, or the creatures like scorpion. But in general, they are representing the Lord Anantashesha, who is a carrier of Lord Vishnu, and they are worshipable. And we see that even in Udupi, this Ananta Padmanabha Swami is there. So, in general, we see them as a connection to Lord Balaram, the Adi Guru. But when in practical terms, when it creates a danger, we have heard Prabhupada's pastime also, who saw his spiritual master ordering to kill the snake. And then later, when he saw the verse in the Bhagavatam, he realized that what he did was correct. So that was my understanding, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for the additional information. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I have one question, Prabhuji. So in the
Hare Krishna.
past time of Saubharya Muni and Garuda, actually Saubharya Muni has committed an offense against uh, Garuda, who is the topmost Vaishnava. But what was actually Garuda's fault? Because he was just, Garuda as a bird, he has to eat fish. That's a law of the nature. And why, what he has done to take the curse from Saubharya Muni Prabhuji? Because Vrindavan is Lord's place and he was not allowed to enter.
Yeah, actually, it was Garuda could have over countered the curse. He would have counter cursed, and Saubri Muni's curse could have not have an effect also. And that is why it is mentioned that Acharyas, that Garuda did his right behavior. He did not take up a fight, and he chose to go somewhere else and do the necessary of maintaining his himself. So there was absolutely no mistake of Garuda, but Garuda did not wanted to unnecessarily pick up a trouble, thinking that Saubri Muni is also devotee of Lord Vishnu. So seeing that as the only reason, he did not have counter fight, but he did with Kaliya. Kaliya was very, very arrogant, neither a devotee of Vishnu, and he picked up a fight with Vishnu. So for us, what is the lesson and understanding in my understanding is that when we are in a devotee community and both are devotees of the Lord, and if one devotee is wrong, unjust, as far as possible, we try to avoid a conflict. For example, two devotees want to preach into one same college, which is a best college, IIT college. So ideally, both of them should share and distribute the hostel and divide the boys and preach. But it doesn't happen. Some of them are little more possessive. Then what to do? Then instead of picking up a quarrel, better choose some other college. No problem. Let us get little lesser result, but have good relationship, because just is a devotee, we need to respect. So that was my understanding.
Yeah, understand, Prabhuji. I think this is similar to how Parikshit Maharaj really responded to the curse, right, Prabhuji? He could have counter curse.
Exactly. Yeah. In that case, yeah, he was also could have counter cursed, but he chose to follow the plan of the Lord and not curse, and that is how Bhagavatam came out. He was completely motivated by the will of the Lord from inside. Whereas here, if we see from a practicing sadhaka, he may not be in tune with the Lord. So at least he can follow this injunction that don't pick up a quarrel with a devotee as far as possible. Because when two devotees fight, Lord is not seeing who is technically right and wrong. Lord is seeing that who stops the quarrel. So that is always where our preference should be. Who is technically correct is a secondary issue. First of all, devotees should not fight. That should be the principle. And Garuda maintained that.
Understand. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I think there are no questions.
Yes.
So thank you very much, Prabhuji, once again. We will end today's session with the Vaishnava Pranam. Vancha kalpata rubhyasya kripa sindhu bhyevacha patita nam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai. Sai Gaura Premanande. Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna. Thank you, devotees. We will end the Zoom session now.